Welcome to the video, and it is a Tuesday coming off of a victory Sunday for our Miami Dolphins. And after that victory, I've been having some things run through my mind. It's not about Mike McDaniel being fired or not. Maybe it is a little bit, has to do a little bit with it, but it's not about the management of the time and all that. It's about the concerns I have that stem from the Miami Dolphins facing such an easy schedule to come. They have a bye week, and then we have the Saints, then we have the Jets. And if we get 2 wins against 2 of the worst teams in the league, that's 6-7. 6-7. Miami Dolphins can be 6-7 in about 3 weeks. And that concerns me deeply. Deeply. It's not because I want to tank and want to have a good draft pick. It's not because I don't want to win. Of course I want to win. Winning's better in football. You want to, especially in the Miami Dolphins situation, you want to establish winning with this team because we're probably going to have it next year with all these reports coming out. So you want to carry it over some momentum, and why not see what you have to do? This season was never meant to tank and rebuild. Just who cares? Just keep winning. Whatever happens, happens. I'm here for the ride. I don't want to really tank and just shut down the season already. That's not my concern about the Miami Dolphins winning these next couple games. My concern is, it starts with the ownership, of course, becoming hopeful that there's something with this team, and there's some sort of good, something good about this team if they go on a little run to end the season. That's what my concern is. My concern is that we're not going to get the changes that are necessary for this team to actually be a real team, because this team right now is not a real team. This team started 2-7. This team's not a real team. It's not a real playoff team. It's giving us some hope right now, or if it does, it gives you any. But it's not a real playoff team. It's a losing team. And I'm scared that these changes, after we go on a little win streak and we end up finishing the season 8-9, aren't going to come because this owner, like he did last season, when we went on that little win streak at the end of the season, and he said, you know what, maybe if we had Tua, we would actually be a playoff team. We'll be in the playoffs because we had all those games with Tyler Huntley and Boyle and Skylar Thompson as our quarterback that we ended up losing. So maybe if we had Tua, we would win these games. And that's what ended up happening. We didn't make the changes that were necessary to the team to become a winning team, to bring in those guys that push you over the edge. And I'm not saying I want to fire the coach after the season. I'm not saying I want to get rid of, we should completely get rid of Tua after the season. Look, you can keep Tua and Mike McDaniel, but there's still changes that need to be made, whether it's higher up and just changes throughout the whole organization need to be made in order for this team to become serious eventually. Because if this team goes on a little run, next thing you know, we're keeping the head coach, we're keeping the quarterback, and we're keeping the GM, and we're keeping everybody else. No. You can keep Mike McDaniel for a season, maybe see what he does, because there's not that many head coaching candidates out there that are really good. If he can, and we see I like Mike McDaniel. I'm a Mike McDaniel dude. And I see that he can hold the locker room down. He's not going to lose control over the locker room, even if you go on a 2-7, start the season 2-7. So he's proven that. That's the most important thing he's proven this season. And if you're not going to move on from Tua, I am all for also keeping Mike McDaniel, because he's the only one that can really get anything out of Tua, in my opinion. So if you have to keep Tua because of that contract or one more year, go ahead and keep Mike McDaniel. But I still want changes to be made. I mean, Champ Kelly's saying all the right things, but that's all, horseshit until he gets into free offseason, does nothing. I don't want any extensions of Chris Greer or any of that. I feel like the owner is not going to do what's necessary. He's going to be hopeful. He's going to see a little stretch towards the end of the season like he did last year and the year before and the year before. It's just those 2 years before, in 2022, 23, whatever, the 2 years we made the playoffs, the shit stretch happened at the end of the season. The good stretch happened at the beginning. The first season, Mike McDaniel, we saw Tua got out. That's the reason we lost that playoff game. And we had that shit stretch at the end because of Tua's concussions and stuff. But we still were a playoff team first year. Then we go out. The shit stretch happens at the end of the season. We still make the playoffs. We play in the coldest game. This time, last season, shit stretch happened throughout. We had a good stretch towards the end, and it looks like that's what's going to happen again towards the end of this season. Because as I said, we play the Saints and the Jets, and that's 6-7 record right there. And if you can go on, which I think we could beat the Steelers, Because the Steelers, I don't think, are anything good on offense. They did put up 32. Maybe they proved me wrong. Maybe I didn't look into that game enough. Also, Aaron Rodgers, I don't know the extent of his injury, but I think the Steelers are definitely a beatable team. But that's for 3 weeks in the future. Yet just going 7-7 is gonna give Stephen Ross the hope and want to say, because he doesn't like firing coaches, he doesn't like moving on from coaches, he doesn't like hiring coaches, obviously, because coaches haven't been nice to him, and apparently he hasn't been successful at it. And he took forever to fire Chris Greer, so it's going to give him another reason to say, no, I like this team. Put out another message on Twitter that says, no, I like this team. We're moving forward with this group that we have now. Which is going to leave a lot of Dolphins fans scratching their head. Why? This team still started 2-7. There's something going on. There's something wrong. Some change has to be made. Some crazy new acquisitions have to be made. We have to sell off some of these players. Something's got to be done, and I'm scared that this stretch to end the season is going to lead to that. I'm not saying fire the coach for just because. I'm not saying tank either. I want to win. Don't get it twisted. It might be confusing, but I want to win. But I don't have the faith in the owner that if we win, he's still going to sit there and remember the 2-7 stretch and make the changes that are necessary. I was just freeballing that one. That was just what's going through my head. And I had to get that out there. I mean, someone else had to have the same concerns as me. They don't want to tank. They want to win. They're kind of stuck in the middle. They don't know what they want because they don't have faith in Stephen Ross. They don't have faith in this team, but they want to have faith in this team because it's their team and they always want to see them win. Somebody's got to be in the same boat as me. If you are, just let me know because I can't be the only one going crazy over here. My mind's going in 6 different directions. Like, do I want this team to win or do I not want them to win because I don't want Stephen Ross to think he has something here when he clearly doesn't have anything here. This team needs to be burnt down into pieces. And whether you want to keep Mike McDaniel because Tua, you have to keep that Tua piece, fine. But eventually, it probably will have to be burnt down to pieces too, because obviously Tua was the starter through 2-7. So, I mean, whatever. I don't even know what to say at this point. Let's go Dolphins.